Hi, how are you?
My name's Noah, Johnny.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Noah!
All right, I love this place.
Yeah, so can I try this thing out?
Totally.
The problem is we don't take the time to experience everything it has to offer. You do a lot of the jewelry.
Yes, I do. You want to keep a nice even spin so the piece of glass stays on center.
Uh-oh, you're losing the pattern. Uh-oh.
My name is Noah. Come with me and let's explore a little bit of my hometown of San Diego. Sometimes people ask me, Noah, aren't you running out of places to cover? And the answer is, not even close. San Diego is loaded with so many great neighborhoods and coastal communities, I feel like I've just begun. And one of my favorite of them all is Rancho Sante Fe. Tucked into the rolling hills and scenic landscape 30 miles north of downtown San Diego lies a neighborhood with a rich history dating back to 1832, which includes thousands of acres of eucalyptus trees, a famous female architect, and the first mayor of San Diego, Juan Maria Osuna. As you pull into downtown Rancho Sante Fe, you'll quickly notice quiet, cute, and quaint. It's what the locals refer to as the village. I wanted to find out more about the village and how it came to be, so I stopped by the Rancho Sante Fe Historical Society. Inside, I met the director, Sharon Fabry, who told me how the society got started.
I believe it was like in 1989, and the last owners of this house, the Ritzes, they actually gave the house, all the contents of this house. They had a lot of collections and all their furniture to the Historical Society.
They gave it to you guys?
They gave it, Isn't that wonderful? Very. So in receiving that, that meant there's a big responsibility to maintain this.
And maintain it they have. The Society restored and transformed the house into a great little museum, containing wonderful pieces from Rancho Sante Fe's past. Sharon said not only did the Ritz family donate the house, they included several pieces of their personal collection.
This is part of the collection of the Ritz family. They were big travelers and they brought back all of these things. I'm not really that familiar with each of them, but these are some of the generous donation that they gave to us.
Very nice. Next, Sharon showed me the family brand of Juan Maria Osuna. Now, I didn't even know who Mr. Osuna was. That is, until local historian Vaughn Marie May enlightened me a bit.
This was originally the old Mexican land grant, the Osuna Rancho San Diego, which means Little San Diego. And he named it that because it had all the elements from salt marsh to hills, which is kind of indicative of San Diego County. You get a little bit of everything. You get a creek, you get a river, you get hills, you get agricultural land. So it was Little San Diego. And he was significant. He was the first alcalde of Old Town, mayor of Old Town, first mayor domo of Mission de Alcalá. His father escorted Father Serra into the United States.
Really?
So Osuna is really huge in California history, in particular San Diego history.
That's incredible because really, I had no idea who he was.
I know.
That to me was very interesting. Osuna had a big-time impact on San Diego. Vaughn said in 1906 the Osuna family sold out to the Santa Fe Railroad Company, who bought up the entire area and planted 3.5 million eucalyptus trees. And they did that for the railroads?
Railroad ties.
Okay.
Because they heard these grow so fast and they're so straight that we're going to have railroad ties, because it was incumbent on all the railroads to knit the East Coast to the West Coast with track, and they needed ties, and they needed them fast because the frontier was opening up. And they found out that this fast-growing tree was going to do it, but they didn't get that it had to be a lot more mature than just a couple of years old and about that big around.
Not only were the trees insufficient for railroad ties, Vaughn said there was one other factor.
And what really is the bottom line is that they found that they could go to Oregon and buy Doug fir cheaper.
It's funny how things work out. Today, those trees are signature Rancho Sante Fe. In the little time I spent at the Historical Society, Sharon and Vaughn taught me a lot. I also saw some old P.O. boxes, lots of great artifacts, and several pictures of famous people that called Rancho Sante Fe home. Folks like Douglas Fairbanks and Bing Crosby. Before I left, the ladies gave me a wonderful book entitled Rancho Sante Fe, A California Village. My time at the Historical Society was great, and this little adobe house was beautiful. But then again, it was designed by Lillian Rice. Oh, I haven't told you about Lillian Rice, have I? Maybe I should do that. You see, she's pretty much responsible for designing the entire town. When the whole thing went bust with the eucalyptus trees, the Santa Fe Railroad Company decided the area would be better suited as a community. So, they formed the Rancho Sante Fe Land Company and hired well-known architect Richard Requa. Well, Requa was busy, so he handed the job off to a young woman named Lillian Rice, who rose to the occasion. At that time, Rice was only the second female architect ever to graduate from the University of California, Berkeley. In 1922, she was commissioned to govern the entire public and residential design of Rancho Sante Fe, transforming the lush eucalyptus forest into a community reminiscent of the small villages in southern Spain. Rice did an amazing job combining natural materials such as wood, brick, stucco, and stone in styles well suited to the warm California weather. Rancho Sante Fe was among the state's first planned communities, with the town center being built according to Rice's plan, instead of being developed haphazardly. In 1922, construction began on the first building in Rancho Sante Fe, a vacation destination called La Mirada. Here, accommodations were offered to prospective purchasers of property. Situated on a slight hill at the western end of town, it commanded a sweeping view of the village. This is some great old footage of the newly developed town from the front of the La Mirada. If only my grandparents had settled here. Anyways, designed, of course, in the Spanish colonial revival, La Mirada contained a sitting room up front and opened out to a terrace. It was beautiful. The Santa Fe Land Company envisioned that La Mirada might become a community clubhouse of sorts when no longer needed for sales promotion. However, in 1928 it was transferred to private ownership, and in 1940 the name changed to The Inn at Rancho Sante Fe. Today it's owned by the Royce family and remains the focal point of the village. Beautiful as ever, I thought I'd stop in to say hello. Out front I met the managing director, Kerman Barricker, who told me a little bit more about the inn.
Well, the Rancho Sante Fe was built 1924 by the famous architect Lillian Rice, and also there's a corner that building is built by her as well.
Okay.
The one thing so unique for this property, I mean, we have been in the business a long time, but this property has been owned by the same family last 50 years.
Really?
I mean, it's so unusual our industry. I mean, if you look back to any hotels in really in the country, last 10, 20 years, they change few ownership, and this has been maintained by the same family. And really, the one thing also unique that really, if even this place has been built 50 years ago, if even we did kind of restoration, the refurbishing everything, we never really lost the charm and identity of the property. And being in Rancho Sante Fe, it's really I always say that you just leave the highway, you drive your 5-10 minutes like you're in a different country. There is a so peaceful, so charming, just civilized community here.
That's true.
The school system is wonderful. The people really very well educated. It's a really very peaceful place to be.
Mr. Barricker wasn't kidding. This place has kept every bit of its charm and then some. He took me out back to tour the property. The inn is spread out over 23 acres and contains 15 long-term homes and 87 rooms, most of which are these cool little bungalows. I even saw the original home of Lillian Rice. Along with the beautiful place to relax, the inn at Rancho Sante Fe provides some of the finest dining in town. Mr. Barricker introduced me to head chef John, who told me about his background and the cuisine they serve here.
Actually, been cooking since I was 14 years old.